Can anybody?
Speak right into it. Right.
Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello, everyone, we're back. The board is now reconvened in open session, and we will consider action on our closed session items. Mrs. Tossan.
Yes, Madam President. I move to issue a school district teaching permit for CTE Health Science to Bernardo Garcia.
I second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Tossan and a second by Ms. Hellinger. Do we have discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Hellinger, yes?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, can we discuss that, or do we need to? Yes. Okay, so I'm not sure what you're trying to serendipitously tell me.
Once you do the audience items first. That's right.
Okay, so,
People speak, then we should do that first.
okay, so, what do you think?
I think we're just trying to do the review items, not everything else.
Yeah, right, that's what I understood too. So go ahead.
Okay.
Say what you're going to say.
I move that the board postpone all review items on our agenda until a special meeting to be scheduled on Monday, September 21st, and that we reschedule our regular meeting to the following Monday, September 28th.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion to postpone all the rest of the review items until next week. Do we have discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Scott, for your audience participation. So now that we've moved the rest of the meeting to next week, our next item is our audience response, which, because we have some audience members who still remain, if they'd like to respond or speak to any of the agenda items, they're welcome to do so at this time. And if they'd like to defer their opportunity to next week, you're welcome to do that also.
If you have the overwhelming preference of the board, we would defer.
You can go either way.
All right, well, we appreciate you. Come on up, Mr. Scott. We feel for you. You've got the crutches and the whole thing.
Interesting. Give you an extra 30 seconds.
Interesting. Okay.
And Mrs. Tossan will be timing you. You'll have 3 minutes.
Okay. All right. We'll try to get this done quickly.
And Mr. Rice will kick out one of your crutches and see how long you
All
stand.
right.
No, he won't.
All right. Well, thank you all for letting me speak tonight. I'm speaking on behalf of a bunch of Colony Meadows neighborhood homeowners. And I want to be clear about what we're requesting. We're requesting that the board decline or reject the multipurpose pavilion that's been submitted by the Colony Meadows PTO and submit it back to the current PTO so that it can conduct an open and complete discussion of the project, and then it can hold a vote with both when its membership is fully apprised of what's in the project. And I'm aware of the memo that was circulated after we voiced our initial objections that came out a month or so ago, but I believe it misses a couple of points, and I wanted to bring that to your attention. The first is Fort Bend ISD policies require open dialogue and community input. Mr. Rice, you mentioned that earlier tonight, and I completely agree with it, but that didn't happen in this instance, and that's really the heart of the concerns of the people in the neighborhood. your policy BQB local and legal require broad-based community, parent, and staff input. And that's not an option. That's what should happen. That's the way the process should work. And in this case, that never really happened because Colony Meadows homeowners in November and then again in February requested to speak at the PTO to apprise the membership of the basis of their objections to the project, and they were never allowed to do that, despite having requested in advance, taken time off from work, gotten babysitters and all of that. They were not allowed to speak. And so they were just never allowed to really engage in the dialogue that we all should be able to engage in. And one of our members filed a FOIA request, and the emails that we got back clearly show that a handful of people who were very invested in this project were actively trying to thwart community input, and they did it in many instances. And I just want to highlight this very unusual nature of the secrecy level that surrounded this project. Now, here's a question. We looked at a bunch of things this evening, and there were all kinds of documents for these schools, and you all asked a bunch of sort of basic questions, and that's probably not 1% of the actual documentation
30 seconds.
That's there. Where are the documents for this project? This was supposedly handled by a committee. We don't even know who was on the committee. They never produced a report. There were no copies of any bid, no contractor reports, no blueprint, no detailed design, no bill of materials, nothing. You're going to approve a project for which only a handful of people have received anything at all. Even as a taxpayer, I'm a little bit concerned that the board really has not been provided adequate basis to approve this. And so we would request that it be sent back to the committee, or to the PTO. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott, for being here tonight. Ms. Campbell, would you like to comment as well? I know you signed up to speak, if you'd like to.
I would love to.
Okay.
3 minutes?
You can have 3 minutes.
Well, I appreciate y'all letting me talk, and I think that you kind of just need a little bit of background. I'll enter my notes in for the report. I was on the PTO board at Colony Meadows for over 10 years. The first 9 years were amazing and awesome. This last year was a little bit difficult. We had a new president who was more shut down. She didn't let the general PTO know about our meetings. She took our notes offline and they became private. Said they weren't public. In 2011, a sun canopy was brought. It was going to be fully funded by outside sources. By the end of 2015, it was 100% funded by our PTO. It was a hardtop cover. It was $67,000. It's covering half the hardtop. Half. There's no bids. There's nothing in writing. There's nothing that the PTO board ever saw of what this would be done. We don't know if there was better pricing. Could we cover the whole thing for $67,000? You know, lots of questions brought up. Many irregularities occurred this year. One is the most part that Tim mentioned is that we used to welcome guests and volunteers and former parents that don't even have kids at the school anymore. Carol still helps us with our Patriots Day. Couldn't do it without them. Was very different this year. Once the hardtop cover was considered, if you were not for it or at all opposed to it, you were shut out. Instead of collaboration and understanding, opposing views only, hostility was shown to those. At the very end, when they asked us to vote, they had already sworn in the new board. So the 2015-2016 board was in office in the first week in May. And they made the old board vote May 13th. I talked to an attorney. He said, it's against your bylaws. You can't vote. You have no point. I brought it up as a point of parliamentary inquiry. I was swore at by our parliamentarian. I was talked over by our old president. And we were all forced to vote by private ballot, which again is against our bylaws, the people in the room. CME has both a new president and an amazing new principal who's sitting over there. Our new president, Heather Rudolph, took the office to bring civility and order back to the board. And while she is in opposition, she takes her job very seriously. And she would love the chance to take this back, do it the right way, get some bids, maybe cover the whole thing, maybe get some outside funding, at least bring you some drawings and some stuff that you can actually consider. Nobody is in opposition to this going back to the school. So you wouldn't be overstepping or making people upset. They relish that
30
opportunity.
seconds.
And you said 30 seconds?
30.
Okay, good. So by sending this back to CME, bids could be secured and perhaps cover the entire hardtop cover. $67,000 is a hard pill to swallow. They finished the last year with a deficit. We bought not one teacher gift last year. And that's unbelievable to me, of a school that has that much money, that we couldn't give our teachers their RAS kids or anything else. Given the chance for open discussion and the work at hand with a real committee, FBISD stringent facilities construction policy will be followed, and the neighborhood would be happy.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell, very much.
Can I enter my
Yes,
notes?
if you give those notes over there to Mrs. Kaiser in the red sweater, she'll distribute them to all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. All right, that brings us to the end of our agenda, so we would need a,
Madam President, I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The meeting's adjourned.